Good evening and welcome. This is the Friends of Wheeling Tour on Monday, February the 17th, 2025. And we are at 71 Indiana Street. It's very, very cold today, even though the sun is shining. So we're going to step inside and we'll do the history in there. With us is Sharon David, who is the owner of this house. And this is a before tour. So come right on in. And good evening again. I have a brief history of the house.
Hello. Yeah.
If you'd like to know a little bit about the original owner and so forth. When we found deed records, that's how we start when we do this. Before I do that, let me just make one brief announcement. Some of you may have gotten an erroneous date on your newsletter. The next event that was listed on the newsletter is Wednesday the 19th, which is 2 days from now, which will be at Wheeling Heritage. They have put together a Why Wheeling book with different reasons of why people might want to move to Wheeling. And so that is open to the public, and it's from 5 o'clock to 6:15, I believe. The time is correct on the newsletter. It's just that I put that Wednesday was the 17th, and it is not. So, excuse me for doing that. Thank you, Wendy, for catching the mistake. So, the deed records that we found on this found that this is in Elmwood Square on the island, and the lot was purchased in 1870 by Herman, and I think it's pronounced Kryter. It's a German name, Kraeuter. There is an 1871 map of the island, and it shows a house here with the name H. Kryter, Kryter. So certainly that's the same one. This is Lot 8, and at that time, Indiana Street was named 3rd Street. There is a family story that this was the honeymoon house of the German immigrants who lived here, Herman and Anna Kraeuter. And shortly after they were married, they also built the house next door, which is a larger house, and that's where they raised their family. And they used this for many years as rental property. Herman Kraeuter was a professor of music, according to city directories. He immigrated in 1865, and his obituary stated that he was, and I quote, one of the foremost musical instructors and musicians in Wheeling, and, quote, many of the young men and women of this community gained their knowledge for the art through his tutorage. And interestingly, later deed records for the two properties, when they're talking about the house, include the fact that there's a grand piano as part of the property, which was, I thought, very interesting. Now, in late 1903, the property was deeded to 3 Kryter daughters, Thusnelda, Julia, and Lenore. And then there were a variety of tenants. As I say, it was primarily rental property, and the rental would have gone to the daughters during that time period. One of the tenants was Mrs. Anna Wilkinson, and you may know that name from Cemetery Tour. She was the sister-in-law of the artist by the same name. So about a year, in 1954, about a year before her death, Thusnelda Kryter was then shown as a, quote, mental incompetent, and she probably lived in a nursing home. She was in Ohio somewhere. She sold the property to Charles and Laura Hinkleman, and the Hinklemans were the family who actually owned it and lived in the house, and their name is on the door knocker.
I was trying to read that.
Yes, so it's still there. So it's still there, Hinkleman. And the family lived here. The daughter, Deborah, inherited the property when her father died, and she lived here until 2024. And then her sister, Amy Hinkleman, inherited the property. Sharon David is now the owner. I introduced her on the outside. Sharon is an AmeriCorps member, half-time with Ritchie-Town Renaissance in South Wheeling and half-time with Preservation Alliance of West Virginia. And she has a great deal of training in building rehab from the Belmont College Building Preservation Program. So I imagine she's going to do a lot of the work here herself. And I'm going to turn this over to Sharon. And would you like to tell us on this before tour what you know?
I appreciate you coming out to my modest little house, and I warn you, it is a modest house. Some of the things I would like to say about this house that you might not be aware of, it is a vernacular Italianate cottage style. So the front of these kinds of houses would have been done in that high style, but the sides, the rear, etc. would have been very plain, almost farmhouse-like. The front facade is original, but the porch is later. That was, I believe, built in 1920s. This is not an Italianate porch, unfortunately. And when you go outside, you'll notice that these shutters are completely wrong for this house. They're not mounted correctly. They're not even the correct shutters. But we will take care of them. Okay. Then when you come inside, the parlor and the dining room, these are not the original floors. If you would like to see the original floors, you should peep in the cupboard at the back of the dining room. You'll be able to see the original plank floors. They're even painted white, as people used to do in these modest houses. They used to repaint them white every year. Can you believe that? I'd rather stick to spring cleaning. But there you go. All the windows are original. All the doors are original except one to the back porch. And upstairs you'll notice that the floors are not original either, and there's been a minor change to the floor plan, but totally reversible. I really hope you love this house as much as I do. Thank you.
Okay, so lead us through.
All right. So if you can see around each other, we're standing in what I would call the parlor, probably what people called this room in those days. Unfortunately, I had to take out all the cabinets so they're from the kitchen, so they're blocking your view. But if you get a chance, there's a sweet little fireplace there. Again, not elaborate, but a little bit of style. Everything sitting on the mantelpiece are things that we have found so far, all right? And from here, sorry guys, I believe this wallpaper may have been put in by Miss Deborah May. I am not absolutely sure. I'm going to try to save as much as I can, and I'll be talking to Erin about wallpaper preservation. Hopefully we can save some of this, okay? And from here we're going to go through to the dining area. There's a sweet little article on the table. I believe it's from '87 when it was part of Historic Wheeling Tour. And next to that there are some photos which will show you what it looked like when Amy and her sister Deborah lived here. Then further over on this side, when Jean was here, Jean, amazing woman, always manages to find something. She found some original immigration papers of one of the family members. And then on this side of the table, I have some original wallpaper, two types. And what I found interesting about this is that one of them either was put over canvas, maybe they tried to repair the wall, or it was originally on canvas. At one time, we were under the impression that this would have been a tin roof, but it looks like it might have been a slate roof. And these are some probably 40s, 50s tile that I found in what was once a bathroom. Okay. Under the stairs, there is a sweet closet. Does anybody have any questions about these two rooms? Okay. All right, we are going through to what was a kitchen. It's been entirely dismantled, but I assure you it's safe. Come on in. Everything's all right, you'll see from the walls that a number of different decor styles in this room. So like the dining room and the parlor, this has the original plank flooring under these many layers of flooring. over the original plank flooring, I found a really interesting pattern of linoleum. Not the typical checkerboard, more like a tartan pattern. I thought that was interesting. And then over that, some modern vinyl. And then on top of that, recent vinyl, I would say. Probably about the 2000s or something. And then on the walls, there's, I don't know, probably in that corner you can see it, they had the original like 1920s through 40s Barker tile that looks like paneling made to look like tile. And then wallpaper on top of that. I was really sad to lose this wallpaper. Since I am British, I really love the teapots. I know that's a cliche, but I did. Okay. Unfortunately, the bathroom and the so-called covered porch are not safe. But if you're intrepid and want to walk down the side alley, you can take a look and also take a look at the garden. Okay. And let's see. That's it for here. So we'll have to turn around and back up. So I'll go coming through you.
Busy.
Yes, trying to get through. Sorry, guys. Okay. Anyone going up the stairs? The stairs are steep and the carpet is a little slippery, so please take care.
Left or right?
You can go either way. So while I'm at this staircase, you might notice a little bit of a curiosity here. This, at the top of the stairs, we do not believe this is the original configuration. We think they raised the floors to get an upstairs half bath in here at some point. So we're going to go into one of the bedrooms. Making it work. So this was the original closet, and I'm not sure if this was Miss Deborah May's work or if it was her parents' work. But this was done in a French country style, I guess you could say, French provincial. And if you notice, the trim up here is not quite the same as downstairs. It's less elaborate, which is typical of this type of house. And then this door is one of the few, I think I have two doors that were not original. It leads to a Jack and Jill, but you'll have to squeeze if you weigh over 130 pounds to get into this. But it's kind of nice to have this upstairs since there is no full bathroom upstairs. So this house probably did not have a bathroom at all when it was constructed. And if you can squeeze through, we'll just pop through to the next slide. So this would have been one room. I believe it was split in two to house the two daughters, Deborah and Amy. And this closet was added. And if you peek along the baseboard where it's missing there, you can see some really old-fashioned linoleum. I'm not quite sure what year it was. When I first came in, I thought it might be a very old linoleum, but if this floor is raised as we think, then I don't think it's as old as that.
Is it going to leave this floor?
I'm hoping to take it back, but at the moment I don't know what's under here. But downstairs I do not intend to keep this. Maybe somebody at Habitat can make use of it. All right, I'm going to start making my way down. Please take your time.
Let's back down.
Wait.
Sharon, you know what I said? You could open the washer and dryer. Well, get a smaller one, but put it in the closet there.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, that was on. Yes.
So
Okay. So The kitchen cabinets obviously were not original to the house. I'm not sure if Miss Deborah May put them in or her parents. Unfortunately, I had to dismantle them because there are some plumbing issues in the house that I need to take care of before I can do anything else. Also, as pretty as these chandeliers are, these are obviously not original to the house. These are probably mid-century chandeliers. If they had lighting at all in here, it probably was gas to start with. I did find some gas pipes on the porch, and
The fireplace upstairs that has a
Yes.
gas port.
and then at some point, the fireplaces were converted to gas. I'm not sure if they can be operated or not.
They're glass. I don't know if they're crystal, but they're glass. We're looking at the chandeliers.
Somebody was asking earlier about the door. The door is, the interior of this exterior part of the door is original. It looks like it might have been stained. With all the alligatoring, the paint just falls off, which would be nice because I would have to strip so much. But it was probably stained originally. When you go outside, another thing that I found interesting is how exterior paint on the facade changed over the years. So in 1870, this house would not have been painted anything like this. It would have been based more on Downing's idea of what a house should be painted. So they had colors like light drab, medium drab, and drab, which I kind of like. But they tend to be like creamy browns, very neutral, very natural. And unlike today, where people tend to be dark bodies and light accent colors on their trim and windows, it was the reverse. It would have been lighter body and darker trim. So I am looking forward to putting that back. The other thing I'm looking forward to is, I don't know if any of you saw the pictures of the garden. I understand there were lots of irises here, which is my favorite flower. And a classmate, a former classmate of ours, who is now a home inspector in the area, rescued some irises from the island and is planning to let me have some of that stock. So those island irises will be back, hopefully out front and then later in the back. And I have an original hawthorn tree. I've been told that this tree out front, which has been here a good while, is a hybrid plum cherry, which I've never heard of before, but I guess I'll find out. All right. If you would like to go around to the right side of the house, you can walk through to the garden. I warn you, it is a mess, but it's an opportunity to see the original Dutch lap siding, which is quite cute. Sadly, in great need of repair, but it's worth a trip. All right.
All right.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Sharon. And I will go out temporarily in the cold and take a look of the outside. So here is the outside of the house. It looks almost yellow in the sun, but it's actually a pale green. And we'll walk along the side. And see the siding. And here's the backyard garden with a garage and shed in the back. So we're looking forward to coming back for an after tour. Thank you, Sharon David, and thank you for watching, and keep liking our Facebook page for Friends of Wheeling, and enjoy our tours. Good evening.